right, so once again, I have been pushed into the bedroom as the rest of the house is taken. I can't seem to film in my own area half the time these days, so that's all right. I can record a freaking review anywhere. So, funny enough, while I was watching The Mousetrap, my daughter came in and was like, "What in the holy hell is this?" And I told her, and she was like, "What's the worst movie you've ever seen?" And I was like, "Glad you asked. It's a movie called Death House." And so I picked up my phone and I showed her a little review. And in that review, I wore this shirt. And I was like, I was getting dressed for this. And I was like, it's only fitting to put on this shirt for yet another terrible film. Now, is this on the level of, Death House? No. No. Nothing is that bad. But this is bad. This is bad. That's going to be of no surprise to many people, of course. And most people would be like, why did you even watch this? Because I was pretty impressed with Winnie the Pooh 2 recently. And I was like, well, you never know. You're not going to know until you watch these things. And I watch plenty of crap. I mean, I just watched Graveyard Shark this week and actually enjoyed it. So this, of course, is the first of the Mickey Mouse horror films. As soon as these things go public domain, people want to jump on these things and make them because they're popular IP that they have access to use. And we're also getting Screamboat with David Howard Thornton from Terrifier. Supposedly on IMDb that says January 1st, 2025, so that's in like 4 months. Now, I don't know if there are more in the works, but as of right now, this is the first live-action Mickey Mouse horror film since the public domain thing that I'm aware of. Anyway, so this is about a girl that works at a like Chuck E. Cheese type place, and her friends throw her a surprise birthday party. That's kind of like a spoiler, I guess, sort of. Not really. That's just the fucking premise of the movie. It's a slasher film, of course, and it has the typical tropes. It's got the jock, and it's got the ditzy freaking cheerleader blonde type chick, and it's got the nerdy guy who likes the girl but can't say anything. It plays off of all of those things. So I'm fine with all of that. I mean, I personally am not a huge fan of just playing the hits endlessly unless you really have talent and can make all those things work. But where this film really, this film pretty much suffers in most areas. The only positive things I could say about it is that the film looks pretty decent. It looks like it has an okay production value quality to it. So it's not just total trash as far as behind the camera goes. I think they used a pretty decent camera and put some money behind it in that department, which actually kind of adds to how much I dislike it because they didn't seem to put effort anywhere else. Yeah, I mean, pros. The girls in the movie are attractive. I'm really stretching here, but that's pretty much it. So we're mostly telling this story through the narration. We don't get a narration, but this girl is recounting the events from a jail cell, holding cell, talking to detectives and telling them what happened. And they do it in this way to kind of try to build some form of mystery and tension on who made it and who didn't, because she's being very coy with her words on hiding who is and who isn't dead. And throughout, she survives, but you're supposed to be who else made it, because they kind of hint at certain things, but they don't outright say them. And when certain people die, then she kind of reveals that to the audience. This doesn't really work at all, mostly because the horror in this is just dreadful. The dialogue in this is horrendous. Now, I'm no stranger to, nor am I a pearl clutcher when it comes to profanity. I could care less. Quentin Tarantino is, probably the best screenwriter ever for me. So you can curse as much as you'd like, but when it becomes a crutch This happened with a film I just watched that I reviewed yesterday or a couple days ago, where it's just like The Kills is the movie that I'm thinking of. It was a couple days ago. When every other word is a cuss word from your characters and there's nothing else behind it, it's just lazy. It's just an attempt to be like, look, we're making a Mickey Mouse horror movie. And it's definitely R-rated because we sure cuss a lot and we sure talk about like sex and stuff. It's just lazy. It's just lazy. And, the delivery of all of the lines is super poor. The characters are all extremely forgettable. They try to create this like romantic thing going on with the main girl and the nerdy guy, and she's always wanted him to ask her out, but he's never had the courage, and the jock guy is actually into her, and he's like aggressively coming at her the way that she wants the nerd guy to come at her. It's all that kind of crap, and all the dialogue and everything between them is so just cut and paste, just very generic, no thought put into it, no heart behind anything. This is that kind of film you watch and you're like, they threw together a film as fast as possible because they were trying to do it before anyone else got it up. That's the way this feels the entire time you're watching it. Like, okay, as soon as the rights became available, they snatched them up, and not that I shouldn't say rights became available. I honestly don't even know how this whole thing works, how they have to, do anything with it. If it's in public domain like this, can they just do it? They have this like text opening crawl that's supposed to mirror Star Wars, and it's supposed to be like an in-joke of like, we called Disney and we asked them and they want nothing to do with us. Ha ha ha. Like, that was all fine and well, and I was like, okay, cute. Like, you're acknowledging that Disney is like doesn't want anything to do with you guys. So I don't really actually know how any of that stuff works. I don't even know why they'd be calling Disney. They want their approval. I honestly have no idea. I don't really care, to be honest. But it just feels like whatever it is, they had to rush it because like they wanted to get it up before Screenboat, right? And to rush out a product is going to cut down on its quality. Now, were these people capable of a good movie? Maybe if they were given more of a budget and more time, would they be able to produce something like Winnie the Pooh 2? I'm not saying Winnie the Pooh 2 was great or anything. It isn't, but it is monumentally better than the first one. Mostly because it has like memorable kills, and that's a good segue into this. The kills in this are just as horrible as humanly possible. They're either done off screen or they are done so poorly that it's kind of shocking. Like, this director has absolutely no idea how to direct any kind of action sequence or horror at all. Now, as I said, maybe because they're being rushed. He didn't really get to put his talents on display. But if these are them, then I can only judge against what I've seen. And what I've seen here is just terrible. Oh, man, I hate reviewing movies like this because it's an indie and all of that. But, I feel like a movie like this is kind of asking for it, right? It's asking for the critical panning because it didn't try to create... This isn't a passion project. This isn't trying to create something from nothing. This is just snatching up a familiar IP and trying to be the first one to get it up. That's all this is. So you're like kind of asking for criticism. So I don't mind criticizing this one as much as something that's just like people, who actually just wanted to make a film and got it done. This seems like a lazy kind of like workaround where it's like, I want to be able to make sure eyes are on my movie, so I'm going to pick this IP, but then I'm not going to actually put any effort into making it any good, to actually like sitting down and coming up with like a clever way. So like the way that Mickey comes into this, for those of you who don't want to know, spoilers, who cares about spoilers with a movie like this? What could I spoil? Literally, what could I spoil in this film? There's like nothing. So the way that that Mickey comes to be in this is that a guy who works at this place, like the manager, he has like a classic reel of Steamboat Willie, like the original cartoon. The kid in it says 1928. I'll go off of that. I don't know what year it actually is, but he says it's 28. I'll take it. So like that original one, he puts it like because this guy I guess is like some cinephile that actually collects like film stock on reels and plays them, and he has like the OG one. So he pops that in, and then he like spills some like beer or something on an electrical cord, which I guess then shorts out the electrical cord. They're insulated, so I guess this one is not. It has like a crack in it or something. I don't know. But for some reason that like short circuits it for a second, and this releases the Mickey entity from the film, and it like possesses him, and he's got like a Mickey mask that he has because he's like, a Mickey fan, and Mickey is using his body as a vessel, and the guy like puts on this insanely cheap mask. His outfit is not interesting. He's wearing like some random blank hockey jersey because I guess there's hockey players in this. I grew up playing hockey, and it was hilarious. Like when they go, because there's like a scene where they go to another building with these hockey players that want to beat up the jock guy for hitting on some dude's like backup chick, or the main jock guy. It's so stupid. But like they're supposed to be like hockey bros, and they're carrying around these like super cheap freaking roller hockey sticks that you would buy. Like these are like, this is the budget that they had, I assume, is like, we'll just go grab some hockey sticks, the cheapest ones they have. These are the kinds of ones that you would find at like a Big Five in the discount bin for like freaking $5. These are throwaway hockey sticks that no actual hockey player would ever use. As somebody who grew up playing hockey, I laughed when these were like the hockey guys. And there's like a fight sequence between them and Mickey. This is legitimately one of the worst action sequences I've ever watched. Like, and they're supposed to be dead after that fight. I mean, I guess maybe he just killed them off screen after they are all like knocked out. Jesus Christ, guys. This is so bad. This reminds me of this movie from last year called Phantom Fun World, if I remember. Is that what it was called? I feel like we get one of these, or like 5 of these every year, these low budget slasher films where they have nothing to say. They don't have a budget to put a single kill on display. We get one kill that has some CG effects to it that does not look all that great. But, if they had put more of those, maybe it would have upped the enjoyment a little bit. But the film takes itself pretty damn seriously, even though it's super goofy. I don't know. God damn it with these movies. Like, have fun with it. I know maybe people would say like, oh, it looks like they're having fun. No. No, I'm not having fun with it. I'm not having fun with it. Usually that bleeds through. Like you can feel the fun that people are having making movies when you're watching them. This just feels soulless. Like the fact that Mickey is like, the way like they find Mickey's kryptonite, and like he also has the ability to like teleport. I don't know, like they didn't think through any of this at all. Like none of it. Like what does this have to do with Mickey Mouse? Like I don't know what rights they have, right? Like do they have full rights? Is it just the Mickey character in his name? Because this was called like Mickey's Mousetrap or something, and now it's just called The Mousetrap, which, I would more think of the board game than Mickey on that title. But the mask is just awful, and its backstory is non-existent. As I said, what do they have access to? Maybe just that cartoon, in like specifically like the Steamboat Willie cartoon. Is that what they have access to? Is it all of Mickey? and his lore? Are they allowed to get into that? They didn't even attempt like any kind of lore, any kind of backstory, any kind of anything. Like it's just like the most basic generic slasher you could possibly imagine. And the only like difference is that the guy is wearing a cheap $5 looking Spirit Halloween knockoff Mickey Mouse mask. So I don't know, man. I'm actually like, and the outfit that they chose for him to wear, because it's like a possession, so he's like taking on the body of the other guy. It's just so poor. It's just so ill-conceived. There's just no thought put into absolutely any aspect of this film. I know I'm just going over the same shit back and forth. I'm always just blown away by stuff like this. I really am. Like, to be on a set like this with these people would be definitely something that would be fascinating for me. I would love to pick their brain, to sit down with them like while they're making it and say like, okay, what are we trying to do here exactly? We're trying to make money? Are we trying to tell like, would you like this movie? Right? Because like one of the actors in this, he takes off his shirt and he has a "They Live" tattoo, like the alien, the male alien with the obey above him. So like, you know, I'm assuming that guy's a pretty big horror fan. I'm sure that's why he agreed to be in this. And you got some really good looking women. You have a good looking like, you know, camera and you know, production value here as far as like the aesthetics and the look of it. I mean, it's flat. It's not like stylistically looks good. It just looks like they're using a camera that is adequate enough to shoot a movie that doesn't look like dog shit. So I'm always, when I watch these, I'm always just kind of like sitting back thinking like, what's the aim here? What are you trying to attempt? Because if you yourself, the filmmakers, like if you watch this, you wouldn't like it. And isn't that the whole point of like making films? Is like to make the film that you've always wanted to see. Like that's what I want to make film for. Like that's my attempt. You know, yeah, part of it is of course to like connect with an audience and have them like it too, but you do that by putting out a product that you're proud of, and you know you tried your best at least, because you're not always going to be successful. You know, you're not going to always be. Not everybody is fucking like some master filmmaker, and you sit down and you go, shit, this is way harder than I thought it was. You know, so like I'm not saying I have any talent that you don't. I'm just like, when I'm looking at the script, when I'm thinking about the whole, like this whole thing conceptually, I just kind of like am fascinated by like, why not try to actually make this a film? Like I know it's Mickey, I know it's stupid, but that doesn't mean that you can't still make a very enjoyable, fun slasher movie, you know? Like, if anything, if nothing else, at least have a lot of fun with it. Get some, you know, take some of that budget, put it towards kills. And if you don't have it, you shouldn't make a slasher. I'm just saying this outright. Unless you make every other aspect of the film super, super enjoyable, if you're going to make a low budget slasher like this, it just has to have awesome kills. If you could get some really rad kills, you know, maybe play around with the dialogue and the concept some more, do some rewrites, think about things, get a little more clever with the approach, and you know, even for more fun, get a couple of these girls to take off their top. then you've got something where people like me and slasher fans are gonna be like, hell yeah, man, we got some hot naked chicks, we got some fucking rad kills. The film didn't take itself too seriously. It had a lot of fun. Like we'd be sitting here having a completely different discussion. I would be sitting here being like, yeah, I know this isn't this is a Mickey Mouse horror film, but man, it was actually a good time. So like, this didn't have to be as bad as it was. So anyway, that's it. I'm always really just kind of baffled by these types of movies. I don't know what the attempt is other than just making money, and it's like you could make money too and also have a product that you're proud of, because I just don't see that anyone's proud of this. This is just dreadful. Anyway, that's that. I'm going to stop harping on the film. But once again, you kind of asked for it. So that's that. I'll see you in the comments. Adios.